Hi, this is Tim of Govberg, and welcome to the world of Glashutte Original. Today, we'll discuss the proper usage, care, and maintenance of your Glashutte Original SeaQ Panorama date. In order to wind the watch and set the watch, first you thread the crown out until you feel it perceptibly pop out of its threaded stem tube. Now, the timepiece can be wound with the crown in the first position, that is freewheeling but not yet driving the hands. 30 to 40 turns will be more than sufficient to start the watch, at which point the caseback winding rotor will take over and the watch will continue to wind itself. But should you wish to wind the watch up to its maximum rated power reserve of approximately 100 hours, simply continue turning and listen for a subtle click or tick from inside the watch. That's the bridle style mainspring slipping. It's your audible cue that the timepiece is fully wound. Take note, you cannot accidentally overwind this automatic winding watch. So now you know that the power reserve can be manually wound, automatically wound, and the full stocked power supply is 100 hours of endurance. Now, the watch has two subsidiary setting modes that allow you to set the time quite precisely. The first of which is stop seconds or hacking. You pull the crown out 2 positions from its winding position, and now you halt the balance, stop the movement, and arrest the seconds hand. It's best to do this with the seconds hand aligned at the index at 12, and then look up a reliable reference such as an online atomic clock, and let's say if the time is 8:04, I'm going to set the next nearest minute, which is 8:05. I'm going to wait for my atomic reference to catch up so that the hour, minute, and second is identical to what I see on the watch. When the two coincide, that is when the reference catches up and they're set to the nearest second, at exactly that moment push the crown in and continue the operation of your watch. You have now synchronized to a reference time. The next step is to ensure that the watch is safely out of the danger zone, which we call 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. and you can see the watch was in fact in the date setting danger zone. This is the period during which the watch is automatically adjusting its date. If you attempt to use the date quick set while the watch is automatically adjusting its date through midnight, you will find that damage is possible. So always ensure that you adjust the date of the watch outside the hours of 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Now, that subsidiary setting mode, which is the second position out from winding, allows you to quick set or rapidly set the date by turning the crown in a counterclockwise direction. At this point, you will have synchronized your watch to your reference time and set the date correctly. You want to screw the crown back down to protect against water resistance, as well as inadvertent damage to the crown, the stem, and the stem tube assembly. The timepiece features a bracelet that is fully sizable, and you can see that this particular iteration, which is mounted on a bracelet, has all links removable. Refer to your instruction manual that comes with the watch for the specific sizing instructions relating to this all-sizable bracelet, in which every single individual link of the bracelet can be removed to find precisely the correct fit. The watch also features a double trigger deployant clasp. Press both triggers and release, and now you see there is an incremental adjustment slider inside of the clasp. Approximately 1 centimeter of incremental sizing allows you to fine-tune and better adjust to fit your wrist if individual removable links are either too large or too small a margin. As always, close the clasp when complete for security on the wrist. The watch features a rotating bezel, and it's important to note that it is a dive-style unidirectional rotating bezel. You can see that the index, currently at 12, moves with the ceramic insert. The ceramic insert, as with the sapphire crystal, is highly scratch resistant. And now to use the bezel, align with the broad arrow style minute hand. The bezel cannot move forward. It is unidirectional and thus a diving bezel. As a result, you cannot accidentally extend a dive if you're using the bezel as a timing reference. You can only accidentally shorten the dive. Read the minute hand against the bezel scale for a timer up to 60 minutes duration. It is important to note that other options are available for your Glashutte Original SeaQ Panorama date. The timepiece fitted with a rich textile strap The synthetic textile strap, being both water-resistant and tough, gives the watch a more rugged utilitarian appearance and comes equipped with a double-deployant trigger-actuated clasp. This functions almost identically to the single fold, with the exception of the incremental adjustment. You will have far more adjustment built in via the close-spaced perforations of the textile strap. Leather is also available, as is a full vulcanized rubber strap. The vulcanized rubber strap offers more physical security than the textile, but a more integrated and finished appearance that may be a better match for the style of your watch or your personal style. The vulcanized rubber strap features similarly a twin-trigger double-folding deployant stainless steel clasp. Now, let's discuss the three primary threats to your watch: water, magnetism, and shock. The watch, as equipped in this demonstration, features a bracelet. On the textile strap, as well as the rubber strap, you're going to find the same quality as you'll find on the bracelet, which is that the water is effectively no threat to the watch when properly used. Take note that if your watch is fitted to an option leather strap from the factory, you will want to keep the strap remote from sources of moisture to avoid premature aging of leather, which is a natural and porous material. It's important to note that although this watch is water resistant to 300 meters, nevertheless, you must ensure that the crown is always screwed in all the way. Never attempt to use the crown to set or wind the watch when the watch is submerged or even when the watch is just wet, as that may allow water to bypass the seals and as a result become internal to the watch with a resulting greenhouse effect that can cause both mechanical and cosmetic damage, all of which is costly. Prevent accidental drownings, screw down that crown. It's also important to note that water resistance, unlike, for example, mechanical specification, is not a permanent quality of your watch. It is not static, and over time, as lubricants age and seals degrade, your watch will be relatively less water resistant. Therefore, Glashutte Original recommends on a yearly basis having your watch water tested with an authorized service center to determine whether factory-rated water resistance is still intact. It's also important, after exposing the watch to water, especially chlorinated water in swimming pools or seawater, clean your watch with fresh water and then dry thoroughly. It's also important to note that although this watch is hardened against magnetism, thanks to the silicon hairspring of the caliber 36, nevertheless extreme magnetic fields, such as those produced by industrial electromagnets, including, and I'm not kidding, particle accelerator tunnels, and perhaps more relevant, professional magnetic resonance imaging devices, can cause magnetism to affect the timing of your watch. So in the presence of these extreme influences, it may be necessary to remove your watch from the proximity of the source in order to return to correct timing. Should any of the remaining components of the watch be magnetized, and this may be manifest in a watch that runs fast or slow, but irregular in any case, take your watch to a Glashutte Original factory dealer where specialized equipment is available to quickly and easily demagnetize those components. Shock, however, can cause more permanent damage to your watch. It's important that the watch be disused during concussive activities such as batting, tennis, or golf, as these produce shocks that can damage or outright halt a fine mechanical movement. It's also important to note that in addition to batting, tennis, golf, firearms marksmanship, certain rugged all-terrain vehicle use may cause sufficient concussion to damage your timepiece. When in doubt, allow your watch to sit it out. Ultimately, every fine mechanical timepiece requires factory attention, service, and maintenance for your investment. It's important that this be performed exclusively at the factory or authorized service centers of Glashutte Original, because these centers solely have the trained personnel, equipment, and original factory parts to preserve the value of your watch as both equipment, that is, instrument, and as investment. It's also important to note that only authorized service centers can back all labor and parts invested with a Glashutte Original factory service warranty. Finally, visit our website at govbergwatches.com to learn more about the proper care and usage of this or any Glashutte Original timepieces. Our specialists are standing by, ready to respond to any text, email, or phone call. This has been the Glashutte Original SeaQ Panorama Date Usage and Care Instruction.